You ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to our Cloud in Brooklyn. It's been a couple weeks.
But our cloud still loves Big
It still
Brother.
loves your brother. You've been a little bit under the weather, traveling, other stuff, life,
But we're here
but we're back. We're gonna give you not a double eviction, a double week recap
in honor of the double eviction.
for sure. In honor of this past double eviction, I think that there's no other place for us to start than talking about Rachel's eviction to start jury.
A moment of, why are you so obsessed with me? For Rachel's departure. Untimely.
I remember watching that episode and being completely riddled with like anxiety the whole episode.
I feel like you were blindsided.
I love what they did with the whole like White Locust, spin off of White Lotus
That was cool.
for
We're White
those
Lotus
fans out
fans.
there for sure. And shout out to Mike White.
I definitely didn't see Rachel coming, but you expect the unexpected.
100%.
So, really, for something that was kind of thrown at us very unexpectedly, this is what happens. Everybody's not untouchable because even if you have a great social game and you feel safe in the house and you're safe in the game can come to get you. I don't love the mastermind twist, and I don't love how they ignored it for so long, and then now they've really like clung to it. But it does make sense for them to jump into the game using the mastermind through the White Locust.
We're like in his like month of mayhem. I thought for some reason Will was gonna be the person. Like everybody being so shocked. Like that's how they started the episode, right?
Yeah.
Everybody being super shocked about the person that left. And I thought there's no way Rachel is going home, but for some reason I thought Will. Because
Mm,
everybody likes Will so much,
yeah.
And I thought that could be an easy way for Will to get evicted. But man, Rachel played that completely the wrong way.
She panicked.
She did the opposite of what Keanu does when he's competing and like taking deep breaths and zenning during a competition. She like completely just lost it. And it's crazy how she could have had the full, I don't know where they started, like 6 minutes and a half, I think is where it started. She could have had 10 minutes and she couldn't have gotten that done. It was crazy to see her just panic through it and just like completely not understand what was going on.
I think once you feel defeated, it's really hard to come back from it. There was a couple of things that happened that also threw her off. And I think the first thing was Ava choosing Vince to go first. I remember she even said something along the lines to Ava, this isn't just like a chance thing. Like this is, you have to have a strategy. Like consider who you're sending in first. Why would you send in Vince who is literally not aligned with you? He's never done anything for you. Like as far as
For
she
sure, that
knows.
was that was a weird
And
choice
so
for her.
she was really worked up over that. And then for Vince to choose Lauren, we weren't surprised.
Yeah.
And I don't think Rachel was surprised, but I think she was just already shaken that on top of it and then panicking like, is 3 minutes enough? They're telling me that they have enough time. Can I do this? And then the moment that she messed up, it's like there was like 3 checks against her, like energetically. The moment she messed up, she could not redeem herself and come back to Zen.
The White Lotus, they show you, spoiler alert, like
Something
somebody's
bad is
gonna
going to
die,
happen.
right? And then like you
Yeah.
have to kind of guess throughout the
Yeah.
whole season
Yeah.
who the person
Who is it and how
like
do you get there?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty much the basis of this whole episode.
Yeah. As soon as it was Rachel, and I'm not even like really a conspiracy theorist, but it's the moment it was Rachel, my first gut reaction was that was on purpose, and Rachel will actually be the mastermind. Like conspiracy. And do I think
No,
that's really what happened?
I
But it
get
was
your.
my gut because it was just so bizarre and it really didn't make much sense. And I felt like Rachel wasn't herself, but I do think she was just really thrown
She
off.
just really
She
botched
could
it. Yeah.
not redeem herself. It happens. You're tired. You're drained. We've talked many times about how emotionally charged and draining this experience must be. And then add, like, as a mom, I don't know how I would do it without seeing my kids and be able to communicate with my kids all the time. Yeah, I just think she maybe lost her juice.
I feel like a big part of it was that she wanted to control the like faith of who
Yeah,
was coming up next,
yeah,
and she didn't think about what a lot of other people thought of, which was like, I'm just gonna disappear
yeah,
and not even be noticed and hope
sure,
I'm not even picked to
sure.
play this. It was just
Yeah,
like it was a big backfire on her. First person into the jury house.
yeah,
She didn't even get voted out.
yeah.
She self eliminated
She
in a way.
she lost. She sent herself to jury. A moment of appreciation for her because she's still Rachel Riley. She really surprised me this season. I don't know if you remember, but way back in episode 1 or 2, I was talking about what it must have felt like for the house guests walking in on day. I think she walked in on day 1, and seeing Rachel Riley walk through the door when you finally get a chance to play this game, and how harrowing that must feel. Um, and I feel like she still did a great job, though, and she played it through the lens of the new players without it feeling like it was all about Rachel Riley and old school stuff. So good for her. I think she did great. Sucks she's in jury, but we are now really in a time of there's really no small players. I guess we can acknowledge that there maybe are 2 floaters who tried to show up. The ultimate storyline is all about ultimatums.
I think it's the triangle, right? It's like that Morgan, Vince, Lauren triangle that like imploded, exploded, whatever you want to call it, from that moment. It all started there.
Mm-hmm.
From Vince getting picked first, him blindsiding Morgan in a way by
Mm-hmm.
picking Lauren first and having Lauren go
Mm-hmm.
and keeping her safe, and then magically him convincing Lauren to pick Morgan
He
to
gave her
go.
an ultimatum and said,
For
if
sure,
I pick you first,
you have to
you
pick
have to pick
Morgan
Morgan.
for sure.
This was, I mean, if you kind of break down Vince's game, it's been all about these promises and really pushing people over the edge. And while he's been doing the pushing, he has been pushed too.
For
And
sure.
so I think this was this really messy, chaotic series of ultimatums that have unfolded throughout the game that really finally implodes as a consequence of these promises that he made and the pushes that he made that he just could no longer see through.
For sure, but he was trying to play his best game. What
Sure.
was best for his game at that moment in time was to keep both Lauren and Morgan safe. And what happened as a consequence of then Rachel going home? The only 3 people that could win HOH was him, Lauren, and Morgan.
Yeah.
And then Lauren wins because she completes the challenge, or that wheel thing,
Mhm.
the quickest,
Mhm.
which immediately keeps him safe.
Yep.
Yes, it's maybe not what's best for Morgan's game and for the judges, right? Or whatever. I think he was trying to do what was best for his game, and it showed by the HOH pretty much being kept between his 2 closest allies. Then we go into that week where Lauren is HOH.
Mhm.
She nominates Morgan,
Mhm.
and Morgan has to win.
Mhm.
And again, when people have their backs against the wall, she wins that BB Comics competition and
Yep.
takes herself off the block.
Your theory of the energy that comes with feeling like you're driven into a corner and you have nothing left to fight for but yourself. Like, it gives you a fire that has consistently won competitions I would say every single competition this season that
The
really
following
mattered.
after that was the BB Blockbuster,
Yeah,
and then Keanu wins it.
yeah.
Also, who if he didn't win that one, he was
He was
also going
going.
home.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
crazy enough, it leaves Will and Ashley on the block.
yeah.
And at that point, this is where like floaters go home, or
Mhm.
people that you can say have good
Yeah,
social gameplay
totally.
that maybe aren't a risk, but at the end of the day, they were the last two on the block. And man, Ashley just had a little bit more better social gameplay, even though Will had played a good social game as well.
I actually disagree with that. I think they voted out Will because his social game was so good.
Yeah, I
I think
guess
they voted out Will because they said if we don't vote out Will now, like nobody wants to vote out Will.
for sure.
Like Will could sit in a second seat in the final two, and everybody loves him.
Everybody likes him
And
for
if
sure.
he sits next to the right person, let's say a Vince, who I think Vince has a great shot to win, but his jury management is a little questionable right now because he's really consistently pissing people
He's
off
burned a lot of the people that
constantly so many
he's played with. Like
times.
even the whole Kelly situation, him and Kelly being so close
Yeah,
early on in the game,
totally.
but he really did burn her, and I can see why she was
Hmm.
like, I'm completely removing myself
Yeah,
from this.
and why she ends up calling him out
Yeah, for
as
sure.
her final moment.
As her final moment, and
Yeah.
like even airing that whole thing out.
He created the situation that I think he knew needed to happen. I don't think he wanted it to happen. Obviously, he had to sit down at some point with Morgan and Lauren and said, "This is my ideal final three." And I don't know if he was maybe just wishful thinking, but there was no way at this point in the game that Lauren and Morgan were ever going to align with each
For
other.
sure.
And the best thing that happened for him was that they were able to go after each other. I
For
think
sure.
both of them in that conversation, they knew before that, but both of them took from that conversation. It's like whoever has the best day gets chosen by him.
For sure.
And you cannot leave it to chance. You cannot leave it to promises. They knew that they needed to go after each other immediately. That's why Lauren put up Morgan, and that's why Morgan eventually targets.
Vince has to nominate Lauren on his HOH because Morgan gave him an
An
ultimatum
ultimatum.
and said, hey, you're either playing with me or you're not playing with me. And the only way you're going to show me this is by putting up Lauren, which, in my opinion, was, man, that was a bad decision by him. Like, he shouldn't have put her up. She still survived this week. He risked her game like that just because Morgan put him in that situation. But it goes through, like, Morgan has done this a lot where she puts him in like certain spots where it's hard for him to even get out. Even what happens after that, where Morgan then comes back at him and says, hey, like, you said that if I vote her out, it's gonna affect our friendship outside
Deeper
of the
than the
game.
game. Yeah.
And she was even twisting that into manipulating him in a way, and it's
I don't know. I don't think I disagree with that take. I see what you're saying. Only because what Morgan is doing to Vince, Vince was turning around and doing to Lauren. They were using the very same playbook. Everything that Vince wanted Lauren to do, Lauren did. And can I also just take a moment to talk about this thing that Vince did consistently, where then he put up Keanu first, where he's HOH and he puts up Keanu, and he's like, oh, why did I do that? Rachel convinced me to put up Keanu, Rachel and Morgan. Oh, that was crazy. That was the dumbest decision I've ever made in my life. And then he turns around. He's like, did he not learn his lesson? Because then he turns around and puts up Lauren. Like, what?
yeah, for sure.
And what do you mean? Because he could have not put up Lauren. He could have just as easily put up Ashley. And yeah, Morgan would have been pissed. But who else does Morgan have in this house? Nobody. Nobody. Morgan would have had no choice but to then kind of like bend the knee and say, okay, I'll work with
I'll work
Lauren
with you for
until
sure.
I get the chance to take her out.
For sure.
She had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
What is she? I don't know why she keeps talking about the judges. The judges died 2 weeks
A
ago.
long time ago.
Get over it.
For sure.
The judges were, in my opinion, never a thing,
For sure.
as we can see. So she was just like clinging to this reality that just didn't exist. I just think it's just really funny how he just makes these insane decisions and then just like wallows in the fact that they're terrible decisions. It would be so interesting to see him make it to final two
Yeah.
and somehow overcome all of those bad decisions because he's played a wonky game.
Now, I do give it then Lauren wins that BB blockbuster.
That was a great, like, I've never cheered for Lauren before, but I loved it. I loved watching
sure.
her when she deserved it.
I definitely thought Keanu should have won
Yeah.
that. Keanu's whole Zen thing practice that he does, he threw that completely out the door. I don't know if he felt completely safe, which he clearly was, because then he still didn't go home. Like, who would have thought
What a feat.
Keanu would have been on the block and they don't take a shot at him?
Yeah.
They still let him. Like, how crazy is this game where such a big target ends up still staying in the game?
He's a bigger target than me. Like, dude, you're all big targets at this point.
For sure.
I mean, maybe the only person that could sit at the end and like really be a seat warmer is Ashley, because I don't think Ashley has anything in her resume to prove that she deserves to win the game. But they're all huge targets at
But
this point.
this also shows where the social game is such a big component, because he did have Morgan on his side and Ashley, and that's all he needed in order to like save himself this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Kelly goes home,
Blows up their little secret final two with Vince, which was necessary. She deserved to do that. She should have done it because Vince is playing everybody.
And straight into the double eviction.
We finally got our double eviction.
That happened really quick.
Morgan
wins.
Yeah,
True.
Morgan.
Morgan
and
wins.
actually, before we go into the double eviction, if you recall in that blockbuster, how Keanu did not come to play at all. And I think he got really, really scared when he found himself on the block because, yeah, you can play a great social game, but he's still been the house's biggest target for
sure.
like over half of
I
the
would have voted
season.
him out even if he was my like number.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm so surprised.
I think he got a little bit of fear of God in his eyes.
Yeah. Morgan won.
Morgan wins the HOH and double eviction. She nominates
Keanu and who else?
Lauren. Finally, a moment for why in the world were they nominating 3 people up until this point?
Wow.
That was brutal.
For sure.
Totally
that was brutal to watch this far into the game.
Totally disagree. CBS, our friend at CBS who watches us, who's
they
probably an unpaid intern.
4 people.
Please.
Like the veto was played for the past like 3 or 4 weeks.
Please don't ever do that again.
That was insane.
Like, do it for like the first month, right? It was really painful to watch. It makes it so hard to play the game.
For sure.
I don't think it made it more exciting.
It exposed so many people's game, which made it so hard for people to like really build something.
Yeah.
When you have to nominate 4 people,
it's too much.
There's like you can't hide anywhere.
6 or 7 people.
You're showing all your cards.
It's impossible. You literally can destroy your entire game. Your biggest ally could technically.
You're playing poker with your cards facing up.
Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, I'm trying to bluff you.
So,
but here are all my cards.
So I mean, thankfully, we finally see the end of that.
For sure.
During the double eviction. HOH.
Yes.
Because, that would have been terrible. Keanu finally feeling like his back is up against the wall because he and Lauren both see, Morgan came to this double eviction to take out a big target. Yeah. Morgan needs that. I think that was Morgan's first HOH win, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Finally, we'd been saying for weeks Morgan needed a win. She had only had a veto in her pocket. Maybe she's won 2 vetoes now, but she really needed a big HOH win, and she knew she needed to take out a big target because everybody knows that Vince has kind of been the player. Although I will say that the last thing Kelly said when she walked out was everything Morgan wants, Morgan gets. So I do think that they already view her as such a strong player before she won the HOH. Like they think she is kind of the mastermind within the house. She knew she needed to take out a big player. Keanu had the fear of God in his eyes at the eviction where Kelly went home, where they could have easily flipped on him and sent him home.
Yep.
He came to play, won the veto,
And
took himself
hey,
off the
it's
block.
you also have to say that Vince was the one that saved Keanu in that vote because
Hmm.
it was a tie,
Hmm.
and Vince was the
Hmm.
tiebreaker. Like that relationship has also been super strange
Hmm.
between him and Keanu, where they've kind of gone against each other, but then at
Hmm.
the end of the day, they're kind of playing together.
I just think that was also partly a jury management decision. You know, I get where Kelly was a little hurt by Vince because I think she also saw early on, I mean, day two, how great of a player Vince could be
Mhm,
and how far he could actually get in the game. If he had chosen to evict Keanu, he would have really lost that vote. I
for
think
sure.
Kelly could be worked. Kelly could be convinced to see the evolution and growth of his game. Whereas Keanu would have been, are you freaking serious?
For
Like,
sure.
of all this time, of
Yeah.
all the chances, and of many times we've had the same freaking conversation, and you take the shot at me. Like, are you serious? I don't think he would have gotten Keanu's vote.
No, he
So I
definitely
think that
wouldn't
was a
have.
jury management decision.
Yeah.
I don't think it was best
It was
for
also
anybody's
maybe
game in the
him
house.
looking, probably thinking that a double eviction is coming up,
Yeah.
and
They didn't seem
like
surprised at all.
who's more likely to win a competition, like Keanu
Mhm.
or Kelly? You
Yeah,
know, I think that also could be a deciding factor
totally.
because you do want somebody. You just did such a big thing for
Mhm.
them. You know that if they win that HOH, they're not going to go
Yeah.
ahead and put you up. As opposed to Kelly, still, if he saved her, Kelly could. I don't think she would have won, but even still, Kelly probably would put him up
Morgan and Vince would have gone up with the quickness
for
if
sure.
Kelly would have won that
Definitely.
by magic, which is very interesting in Kelly's game because she was winning there in the
Early on.
beginning,
Early on.
and then she kind of like faltered a
Yeah.
little bit. I'm not sure what happened to her game, and then she
For
kind
sure.
of just like blended into the furniture,
Yeah.
which is a strategy. That's fine.
Yeah. So Lauren is who ends up going home. So even though she saved herself round one, she eventually ends up going home.
Yeah.
Um,
She was just really defeated, I
she
think, by that point.
unfortunately put too much of her game in Vince's hands,
Yeah.
and that's probably what she's gonna come to regret. Was trusting Vince too much. She did a lot for
Yeah.
Vince.
So much. Everything.
Vince burned a lot of people this
Yeah.
season. I feel like Lauren did. I remember that week where she played the veto for him,
Yeah.
and that's the whole reason Vince is still around and how he couldn't repay her.
Yeah.
You know, I know he wanted to keep her around.
I believe that was a Rachel HOH, and I think that might have even been the week that the judges were formed. Give or take a week, where Lauren did use the veto to take him off. Maybe this is a lesson for anybody who may play Big Brother in the future. The key takeaway from this is that you can have a final two with someone, but if you see your final two canoodling with another person
For
that's
sure.
potentially their final two
Yeah.
to the level that was exposed, maybe it's time to rethink your final two and your amount of faith. You can still say like, "Oh, hey, this is kind of like there was a point where Riley went to Vince and was like, "Is our final two still good?" And Vince was like, "I don't even remember that." But yeah, man, of course.
For sure.
You can say that, but I think it's time for you to move on
To the
and put all
point
of your
where
faith in
Zingbot
somebody
is
else.
coming in
Yeah, that was really
and
uncomfortable. And Morgan got so upset about it that she just turns her back and starts working in the kitchen. She's like, "Oh, I'm fine."
they act like a couple.
They
Did you see them
they
fighting, like her
Oh,
taking a
that fight
shower
the fight
and
was
them fighting
awesome.
like an actual couple?
Yeah.
Like me and you don't fight like that. Like, but that is
Yeah.
straight up couple.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I need to take
Yeah.
a shower, but we
Yeah.
need a
That relationship is
like.
she muddled over this thing that Vince had said that if I'm the one that takes out Lauren because you forced my hand to put her up on the block to renom her, then it's deeper than the game if you send her home. Their relationship,
Yeah,
I think, has crossed an emotional line,
for sure.
and
Where it's
for both
deeper
of
than
them,
this game,
but
and that for sure was.
especially for Morgan. And
Yeah,
this is, I feel like, the second time we've seen Morgan. We've talked about it numerous times how she did the same thing kind of with Zach, and then I think she just didn't even. It's almost like she saw Zach choose Lauren over her, and then she saw the same thing happening with Vince, and then she just like surrounded Vince and isolated Vince from the opportunity to have that deeper, more balanced connection with Lauren. And I just think they took it way too far. And I don't know what that relationship looks like outside of the house, but I do think it's going to be very, very weird. Um, you know, obviously Vince is in a relationship,
I
and
would love to be a fly in the wall when Vince has that relationship, that conversation with his girlfriend.
oh, after that Zingbot, Vince is stressed out going home. His zing was that he lives at home with his parents. Thank God he gets to go home to his parents first and
Yeah.
hide out there because
Yeah, not a good
yikes.
look.
No, it's
Some really like long hugs.
yeah, the rubbing.
Yeah,
If people are leaving a room because you're hugging
for sure.
in a way that's making people
Uncomfortable
uncomfortable,
for sure.
you
That
and you swear on everything that it's
they
not
don't even
anything
notice. They
more.
didn't even know. They didn't even notice that everybody left the room.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah. You need to start reevaluating how you approach this
that was kind of
relationship
crazy.
because it is technically inappropriate. If they were both single people, I don't think anybody would bat an eye.
Not at all.
I think that's what he meant by it's deeper than the game. I think they're very codependent on each other. And you can see it. You can see it in their gameplay. Vince making terrible decisions to appease Morgan. Vince did luck out in that he was not the person that ultimately sent home
Lauren.
either of them.
Hmm.
And the best thing for his game is one of them, whoever took the shot first.
Well, you could see this brewing. Either Lauren was gonna take Morgan out, or Morgan was gonna take Lauren out, and that they were like each other's biggest target.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
they both were fighting for Vince.
It was the battle for Vince.
The battle for Vince.
And in the end, Morgan won.
And Keanu somehow is in this game building a resume. I think that like if this is coming down, my ideal final three, I already know that it's Vince, Morgan, Keanu. I don't know what final two is gonna look like, but I feel like all three of them have at least these past couple of weeks. And how crazy is it, parenthesis, that we had four people eliminated. Like we had pretty much back to back double
In the last
evictions
2 weeks,
in the last 2 weeks.
we've said bye to 4 people.
There's
Yeah.
4 people that have left the house
Absolutely.
in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
These 4 eliminations, these 3 people have like taken over the game.
I don't know if I can see the 3 of them making it to the final 3. It'll be interesting to see how this next week unfolds because Morgan obviously isn't eligible. Keanu's had one HOH where he did put Vince up on the block to show him a lesson. Vince is eligible. Ava is eligible. Ashley's not going to win anything. So she's not really. I could totally see them, especially if Morgan has the power in the end. She's going to I don't know if she could flip on Vince because she does have these moments of considering what's best for her game. That would be really interesting to see what happens if they stay loyal to Final Two, if they can make it there. But I do think that Keanu is probably in danger if Morgan is in power. I know Morgan and Ava kind of have a little connection now that has improved. And so Ava might be in her pocket, which Morgan really needed when there was the ultimatum that Morgan was giving Vince over Lauren. Of the multiple times that this happened, there were numerous times where the only person that Morgan really had in the house was Vince.
Yep.
And the only person that had to gain anything from Lauren going up on the block and potentially going home was Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe further over Ashley,
for sure.
just because she's
And
in that
Keanu.
little thread.
And Keanu.
And
Keanu
Keanu
definitely.
just because Keanu stays in over Lauren.
Yeah.
Really.
That's how I feel like Keanu saved his game right now, was by working with Morgan to paint this big target on Lauren.
Yeah.
And how they needed to sever that relationship of Lauren and Vince.
Yeah.
Like that's what he's been working with, and it's worked to perfection.
Yeah.
Like
well, Keanu's been an opportunist this whole time. There was the week that Vince was HOH that he said, all right, we're taking Rachel out because he saw the opportunity. He was trying to convince Vince to take Rachel out because Keanu could not be the person to take Rachel out. And then I think we flipped over and then Rachel was HOH and I was like, let's take Vince out.
For sure.
And so I feel like every single week we've seen this flip-flopping of Keanu because it's what's best for his game.
And people have been wanting to keep him around too because he's such a big target. And this is where I always remember the Josh season, like how he was such a big
Mm-hmm.
target, and people kept him around just because he was such a big target, and then he ended up winning the game.
Same exact. We have clocked Keanu's gameplay week 1.
Yeah, we did that
Maybe
earlier.
week 2. Maybe
Yeah.
week 1 he was fine, but week 2 at least.
Yeah.
We
Go back to our
immediately,
like season, like in week 1 or week 2 episode. I'm pretty sure we said this.
right away,
Yep.
likened his gameplay to Josh and
Yep.
his little flip flopping. Thank God he hasn't been like as annoying as Josh was.
No, yeah, Josh did it in a different way.
Yeah, Josh did it in a much more like
Like
aggressive,
more, yeah, social,
bullying
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
way. Which,
Where Keanu has done it like winning and like, you
yeah,
know,
he's bounced. He's had little moments where I'm like,
for sure.
but
Yeah.
he has bounced himself out, and I do
The
think that
Ava part of
he's
like, I believe you have a
generally,
prompt, you know, like that
yeah,
rubbed her the wrong way.
yeah, and coming for the whole house. Say, I'm gonna come after all
I'm
of you
gonna
in the
come
whole house.
after the whole house for sure,
He's definitely made mistakes, as they all have.
but not as aggressive.
Here's looking at you, Vince.
Yeah.
I do think that Keanu is generally a likable guy. I don't think Vince would also take both Morgan and
I'm
Keanu
just
to a final 3.
let's just play out next week. There's just a couple of options to win HOH. So again, Morgan can't win HOH. So
Ashley, we're gonna eliminate Ashley and
we're
Morgan
gonna
right off the
eliminate
bat.
Ashley.
And you know what? If Ashley wins HOH this week, finally, we apologize wholeheartedly, and you go, girl. You got this.
But for now,
But for
let's
now.
put Ashley to the
For now.
side. We have Ava, she's won some HOHs, but I don't think it's gonna be Ava that's gonna win this HOH.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Ava's won quite a bit. Ava's
won, I
had
guess.
at least one HOH, maybe 2. And she won the first competition in the White Locust.
Yeah.
That kicked off that entire White Locust like mayhem experience.
Yeah.
Ava can win.
She's won
when it matters.
When it matters, for sure.
Who would Ava target?
Ava would target for sure Vince and Keanu. And then
I agree.
Keanu is gonna target Ashley and Ava.
No, you think Keanu would target Ashley and Ava?
Vince and Ava?
I think he would try to get Vince out. I do.
That'd be interesting. After Vince literally just voted to keep him not even a vote ago.
Keanu is an opportunist. He flipped on Rachel 2 seconds after creating a frenemies alliance with her, trying to convince Vince to vote her out when he won HOH. In the same day, basically.
But I think they're tight again. Like their
It
relationship
doesn't matter.
is so weird.
He was tight with Rachel, and he was going to Vince 5 seconds after a conversation with Rachel saying, "Take her out."
Catherine came over to him and was like, "You won't beat Rachel
He
in a
won't
final
beat
2."
Vince. If Keanu is smart, he won't beat Vince. Keanu has to start looking at who he can beat. He thinks he can beat Ava. He thinks he can beat Ashley.
You have to think jury management here.
Jury management.
Do you think Vince has more votes than Keanu?
Yes.
In the jury house? I think Keanu has Rachel's vote. I think Keanu has probably who else? Like,
you didn't even name people that would vote for him. Will didn't vote for him.
Will, I think, will vote for him. I think Will was closer to Keanu than he was to Vince. Maybe not.
No.
I don't know.
Will hung out with Ashley and daydreamed all day long.
I guess, but I don't know. I don't know if Keanu will put Vince. I think Keanu will try and keep Vince and Morgan.
I don't. I think
Keanu
he has proven himself time and time again to be an opportunist. It hasn't worked out for him, but he's at least tried. And I think that Keanu's gameplay is, in order to win, he's going to want to pick somebody that he knows without a shadow of a doubt he can beat. And that's going to be an Ashley. And I think he's more evenly matched with an Ava, and he can probably beat Ava. I think he's going to see who is nice to him and then try to, or he might even put up Vince and Morgan and say, all right, fight it out amongst yourselves and you guys figure it out. And then one of you guys will definitely, hopefully, win veto.
Yeah.
And whoever doesn't win veto is my target because we're at the end. And Vince, you put me up once. Morgan, you put me up once.
And then what would Vince do?
Vince would put up Ava and Ashley for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna put up Keanu. I don't think he would want to deal with a week in a house where he puts up Keanu on the block right away. I don't think he wants to even deal with that.
Yeah.
Especially if he runs the risk of Keanu going home. I think Keanu would have to be a backdoor, especially because there's not the blockbuster anymore, and
Mhm.
Keanu does not have multiple chances to get off of the block.
Yeah.
So I don't think he would risk. I think Vince's automatic noms would be Ava and Ashley.
In my opinion, I think if Ava wins, she's gonna put up Keanu and Vince.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If Keanu and Vince win, I think they're both gonna go Ashley Ava. And they're gonna try and do a little trio there. At least that's how I see it. But I might be wrong. You might be right where Keanu might see the opportunity, and who knows? Morgan just put him on the block. He has all the right to put Morgan on the block too, and
He literally
be like, "Hey, Morgan, you just put me up on the block. It's you and Vince," and kind of do the same thing that Morgan did with him and Lauren, putting both of them up.
Keanu has lacked some self awareness of where he stands in this game a lot of the time.
He definitely has.
But the funniest thing to me was after Morgan won the HOH for the double eviction, they walk in because Julie's like, "All right, come in," and he walks in. And he goes, "Oh, I wonder where I'm gonna sit," and plops himself right on his
Right
spot
on
on
the
the
knob
block.
chair.
I
Yeah,
was
for
like,
sure.
"There's not even a question. This is my seat for today."
It's gonna be interesting when they show like the behind the scenes of that.
Yeah.
Like, were they like, is he on the block because Morgan convinced him that the best way for Lauren to go home was for him to win veto, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah, maybe, but I also just think that he knew the likelihood of Morgan putting up Ava, Ashley, or Vince was so low.
Mhm.
It was obvious she was going to put up Lauren.
Yeah.
It was just like a no brainer for Keanu to sit there. He knew he doesn't have Morgan's support over Ava, Ashley, and Vince. I don't know why I keep forgetting. Like I'm trying to think of Ashley's name, and I keep forgetting Ashley's name. I totally forgot about her.
Zingbot said it. She's only known for
Her shower.
taking showers.
Remember when Kelly
and
goes
Ashley,
to Ashley?
for sure.
They're like, "Let's be the floaters
Let's be-
final two." I was like,
that was the that
"Welcome to the
name.
game on week 9,
For
girls.
sure. Yep.
Welcome. It's too late, but welcome."
Yeah. It is crazy that there was a point there where there was like 5 girls and like Keanu and Vince.
Yeah. Yeah, that was last week. They really whittled it down. I mean, it wasn't our initial girls alliance that I suspected could happen, but the girls were girling.
Who do you want?
I don't know. I'm not.
Who's your favorite?
I don't.
You don't have a favorite?
I don't have a favorite.
You're not rooting for anybody here?
No, it changes. I'm a flip flopper.
Is there anybody this particular week that you think that should deserve to win this game?
I think we're at a point where everybody is a big player.
I think Keanu should win this game. He's figured something from the beginning. He's been a target, and he's managed somehow to make it this far in the game. If he makes it to final 2, I think he deserves to win the game.
If he makes it to final 2, sitting next to Vince.
I think he has more votes than Vince.
If he makes it to final 2, sitting next to Morgan, who would have Rachel,
Morgan,
Ava,
Morgan
Ashley,
can beat Keanu.
Will,
because Morgan has a lot of people.
She has a lot of votes. She has a great jury in there.
For sure.
A great jury.
Yeah. She would have, like the Will. She would have the Ashley votes.
Vince would probably be in there to vote for her.
Vince would vote for her.
She has at least 5 votes.
For sure.
In jury if Morgan is sitting
even
next
like
to
Lauren, out of respect, probably would vote for her just because she got her out and just being like, wow, like, you did that. I think Morgan has played a really good game as well.
No, she has. She has, for someone who didn't really win a lot there in the beginning. She found herself in the right rooms. I don't agree with her weird like attachment issues with unavailable or uninterested men. And that's something that if she does win, she should use her winnings to resolve with a professional. But she's a gamer.
Yeah.
She is a gamer for sure.
Her thing.
For sure. And I've liked her. She was, I feel like, my top 2 from day 1 were Morgan and Mickey. I loved them as a duo.
I actually, you know what? I think those are my final 2. I think I want to see a Morgan Keanu.
Yeah. Even though Morgan would beat Keanu. I guess Keanu would still win money. I do feel
good point. No. I want to see a Keanu Vince so that Keanu can win.
I don't know. You know how people get. Like there have been
But Vince
past.
can also win if
That's
he
what I'm
makes it to final two with
saying.
Keanu. He's still. I don't know how. I don't think, based off of her exit interview, I don't think Lauren's that like upset at Vince anyways, because again she didn't go home on his HOH, so she probably would vote for him. Morgan in this case would be out, she would vote for Vince.
For sure.
The whole judges, right, like well, maybe Rachel would vote for Keanu because of the frenemies thing, but she was a judge. And then Will and Ashley as well.
I think it would be
He
a very, very tight vote if it was Keanu and Vince. I also think that sometimes people are like really salty, right? Like, take a Kelly. Kelly is a prime example of what happens every single season when somebody walks out and they're kind of salty about the way things go and they call people out. And she specifically called out Morgan because she wanted the house to really notice Morgan, who,
Mm-hmm.
even though she's been a big player and she's been running a lot of the game, she has kind of blended in for someone who's played such a strange game. I could see Kelly voting for Morgan because even if she doesn't really like Morgan or agree with her gameplay, she's like, wow, you did it. And I feel like this consistently happens where we go into a vote and you and I, at least, will be like, oh, there's no way that person's going to vote for them because of the way that they burned them. And I feel like that could
And
be
that
Vince's
was
approach,
some, yeah,
is like, you know what, he burned all of us, but he made it despite burning every
for
single
sure.
person here. So I
Yeah.
think a Keanu Vince final two would be very evenly
But
matched. I think it would be a very tough
Rachel
win.
did say that she would try, and I vaguely recall her saying that she would whip votes for Keanu inside the jury house.
Oh yeah, I don't think that Rachel would vote for Vince just because of her alliance with Keanu,
Mm-hmm.
but that could potentially be the deciding vote. Like I think it would be a one vote difference between Vince and Keanu, and I think it would probably be Rachel because Vince never really got that relationship
Yeah,
in the bag with Rachel, even though
no,
they pretended that they did, but they both knew that they really didn't have that.
yeah,
So I think it would
yeah.
just be a really toss of the coin.
We're coming down to the line here. It's just going to be interesting to see if again that trio makes it to the end. The Vince, Morgan, Keanu. I feel like those are the most deserving. Or if one of those three manages to bring an Ava or an Ashley with them to final two, which I pretty much then just puts the stamp on it and like cash that check.
I don't know if I appreciate the Ava.
Ava's played an okay game, but there's her game does not compare even close
I
to
agree
what
with you.
Keanu, Morgan, and Vince have been doing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Like those three have been playing
Yeah.
hard.
But Ava does win. Ava does win sometimes.
I will say
And
there
she
is a
could
couple of
win.
like there is a couple of competitions here where you could build a really like end of the game resume real
Yeah.
quick, like by eliminating big targets. Like
Yeah.
if she's able to knock out a Keanu and a Vince, like in back to back weeks.
Ava has won enough that she is strong enough, in my opinion. She could easily win and be a
Remember,
deciding
this is
factor.
where like the next HOH is the most important, and then after that, the next veto, like the following veto,
Mm-hmm.
is the most important because whoever wins veto in that other week is who pretty much votes
It's the deciding vote.
who's
Yeah.
going out.
Yeah. She wins when it matters.
Yeah,
We're down to the wire. It's super tight. And I am so excited to see how it ends, but I am really sad that we're coming to an end because I do think this has been a great season.
yeah, it's been a great season.
Yeah.
I was also when I was watching, I was like, there's definitely some material in this season for one of these people to be like in an all-star season and
100%.
come back.
100%
Like
agree.
the
A
Vince, the
couple people.
Morgans, and the Keanu's.
A
Like all three
couple
of them, I feel
people.
like have played really well where they could come back and
Lauren,
be
even. I don't know if you're giving Lauren enough
Lauren.
credit.
Yeah, no, no,
Lauren
Lauren
did a
played really
great,
good for sure.
maybe not as strong as them, but
She
Lauren had
just
a great
didn't make it
game.
as like she probably should have tried to make it past Ashley and Ava. Her luck of the draw, Morgan won
Yeah.
this double eviction HOH, and it was like that was Morgan's number one target.
Just how the cookie crumbles sometimes.
I think that's it. See everyone next week in a normal 1 week episode recap.
Hopefully normal. It is a month of mayhem.
It is a month of
Expect the
mayhem.
unexpected.
Super excited. We're coming down the stretch here. Stay with us. Like the video. Subscribe. Comment. And we'll see you guys next week here in Art Cloud in Brooklyn.
Art Cloud in Brooklyn loves Big Brother.
Peace out.